Go ahead and begin. Feel free to do so.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you to Department of Procurement Services for hosting this event. It's a great thing to get the word out about what we do in our department because not a lot of people know about it. Okay, all right, here we go. So our department is Chicago Animal Care and Control, and our mission is to protect public safety and ensure the humane care of animals through sheltering, pet placement, education, and animal law enforcement. Chicago Animal Care and Control is committed to increasing what we call as live outcomes, improving animal welfare, and strengthening the human-animal bond through education, community outreach, and excellence in animal care. Of course, you could look up all of this information is available on the city's website at chicago.gov. An easy way is chicago.gov/CACC, and it'll take you there. Okay, next slide. So at Chicago Animal Care and Control, we are the city, Chicago's largest and only open intake animal shelter. We actually benefited from the pandemic back in 2020. We typically, on a normal basis, we would take in anywhere between 17 and 20,000 animals a year. We take in all the animals, dog, cat, any wildlife. We currently have some hamsters, chickens, and some parakeets that are in the shelter waiting to find homes also. But in 2020, our population dropped significantly and we went down to only doing an intake of 11,000 animals. We're trying to keep on track with that in 2022, but in 2021, we went up a little bit from the pandemic effect, I'm sorry, by taking in 11,988 animals. And we're on track to keep probably that rate going this year by managing our intake. So Chicago Animal Care and Control is located in Chicago at 2741 Southwestern Avenue. We have staff in our building every day from 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. And we're open to the public again by appointment only to either adopt a new pet, drop off a lost pet, surrender an own pet, or even look for your lost pet. And we're open from those hours again, 12 to 7 daily. But we do have security in our facility 24 hours a day. We also have field officers who are out in the field servicing requests from Chicago residents. And we do anywhere between 30 and 40,000 requests for service every year. And the pandemic didn't lessen those numbers a whole lot. Okay, next slide. Again, this just shows some of our intake types for the animals that we have sheltered at the facility. The largest part of our intake are through stray animals. So those are animals running on the street, walking around the neighborhoods that people find and bring in, or our animals, or our animal control officers actually pick them up on the street. We also do owner surrenders. So if you can't keep your pet for one reason or another, we do take those animals in. And then we have confiscated for animal cruelty. So we do a lot of working with the Chicago Police Department on animal cruelty cases and also rabies observations for animals that have bitten a human or another animal. So we do have to, that's a public safety portion of our department. Okay, next slide. So despite the number of the thousands of dogs and cats and other animals that come in through our shelter, we have reached what we call a 93% live outcome rate. If you look at the chart back in 2014, we were only at a 71% live outcome, which means, doing my math quickly, 29% of the animals that were brought in were euthanized. So they were put to sleep. And we've worked very closely with a lot of our rescue groups and increased our adoptions and trying to put the word out there that this is the place you come to look for your lost pet. So we are at about a 93% live outcome rate for 2020. We kept that rate throughout 2021, and we're looking to even increase that more in 2022. Okay, next slide. Again, I mentioned adoptions. That's one of the way that our animals get out of our facility. And we do host adoptions 7 days a week. You do need to make an appointment for that. Our adoption fee is very low. It's a $65 adoption fee for a dog or a cat, and that includes full vetting, which is a spay-neuter surgery, microchip implant, rabies vaccine, other booster shots, and for dogs, they get a city license with that. So again, our adoption fee is very low for these animals. We do, again, by appointment only. You'd have to make an appointment. You have to look at our website to see all that information. We do host specific adoption events that sometimes we have free adoptions too. So again, all of our events are listed on our website. So you want to check our website for different times and dates for those. Next slide. I also mentioned transfer to our rescue partners. We have a program called our Homeward Bound Transfer Program, and we work with over 200 shelters and different rescue groups. For those of you in the Chicago area, you probably think of the Anti-Cruelty Society and Paws Chicago as some of those. Those are only 2 of the 200 that we work very closely with. There are a lot of specialized rescue groups that have foster-based animals, but they are allowed to come to our shelter and pull animals 7 days a week, from again 12 to 7, and they pull them. They work with some of the more difficult dogs or cats that we have. So maybe a dog is a little too afraid and doesn't show well in our shelter. They will be able to transfer them out for free, no charge, and they take them into their foster home base. The foster home works with those animals, gets their confidence back up, and then they show better for adoption, and they're able to adopt them out through their facility. But the Homeward Bound Transfer Program is a huge program, and we wouldn't be able to have as many live outcomes without these groups that we work with. Okay, next slide. And then there's our lost pet redemptions. Again, a lot of people, if you go back to, let's say, the old days, we are called the dog pound. We were the dog pound. We are changing our structure to be more user friendly, to say. So we're looking to really not be the dog pound anymore. But if you do lose your pet, we should be in Chicago. We should be the first place that you look for that pet. 80 to 90% of the time, if the dog has been picked up, it's brought to our shelter. So you do need, there are some, things that you need to bring in with you when you come to look for your pet, but all of our animals are posted on our website at petharbor.com/Chicago. So you're going to look there to see if you see a pet that looks like yours that you lost. You're going to make an appointment to come in and look at that pet, and we go through the process of redeeming them back to you. Next slide. We are not the only location in Chicago that takes in lost pets, but we are the largest that takes in lost pets. So there are a couple of other locations. There's Animal Welfare League on the south side, Harmony House for Cats on the north side, Tree House for Cats on the north side, and then the Garrido Stray Rescue Foundation, which is on the northwest side. They do everything via Facebook. But again, you still want to check with us first. If your lost pet is not with us, you want to check these other locations. Next slide. Chicago Animal Care and Control also has a huge group of very, very dedicated volunteers. Volunteers come on a daily basis to our facility between the hours of noon and 7, and they actually help us with the animals that are housed in our care. So they will walk them. We have a huge backyard. They will walk them out in the yard and give them the exercise that they need. We provide TLC and other types of enrichments by giving them treats. We have our volunteers do introductions of pets to potential adopters or fosters. They take photos and videos. They write bios for the dogs. They conduct different leash tests and meet and greets with other dogs. So volunteers are very, very vital to our facility, and we couldn't do this without them. Next slide. These are just a couple of our top priorities for 2022 that we are looking to do. We're looking to develop community partnerships, especially in the Invest Southwest focus communities, to build a robust safety net of resources for residents who have pets and need some assistance with those pets. Not everybody can afford vet care, and we want to have those resources available for folks who can, or who can provide the vet care. And then we continue to focus on ensuring equity and access to all of our services, and continue to increase our live outcome rate, and use our new Salesforce system as a management tool to better prioritize service requests in the field. Next slide. And then maintaining a healthy population. So in our facility currently today, we have 240 dogs, and we have about 60 cats. And then there's a few of those others that I mentioned. We do have hamsters, a couple chickens, the parakeets, may have been a guinea pig or two. But we do have a lot of animals inside our facility that are waiting to go somewhere. But before they get to our facility, we like to do something called an intake diversion. We want to talk to folks who are bringing these animals in. Where did you get it? Why do you need to bring it in? What's going on? How can we help you keep the pet instead of bringing it to the shelter? A lot of resource referrals. Again, those who can't afford vet service, we want to provide them with that. We do everything by appointments. And our partners that we work with are out in the communities. Even this past weekend, we had one of our partners out there giving away free pet food to folks who can't afford to go get to get food for their pets at this time. Next slide. So there's our social media pages. Please follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Insta, and Twitter. Next slide. And a couple of our upcoming contract needs that are going to be posted third and fourth quarter. We are looking for a contract for injectable microchips. A lot of our contracts do have to do very specifically with animal and animal health. And then there's dead animal cremation and removal services, pharmaceutical vaccines and drugs for animals, and then compounded animal pharmaceutical drugs. So those are a couple of things that we're looking to put up the rest of this year. Doesn't mean something else won't pop up. But we also, piggyback off of some janitorial supplies for cleaning because we do that on a regular basis too. And next slide. And that is animal care and control for you. Hey, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much, Susan. That's some great information. We will be back in just a second because I'm sure that there are questions for you. So we'll be back in just a second. We want to get with Eric from the Department of Streets and Sanitation. We're going to kind of shift a little bit from animals to other aspects of the city's work. So let me give Eric control. And Eric, do you have control now? Can you share your screen?
Sure. Here we go.
Great. And you can go ahead and begin.
It's going to be hard to follow with some of those pictures of cute dogs and cats, but I'll do my best. So my name is Eric Colon. I'm with the Department of Streets and Sanitation. I am joined by our first deputy, Luis Zepeda. He's on the line in case we have any questions at the end. So let me go through the agenda here. I'll kind of introduce the department, go over some of the different sections that we have, some of the operating bureaus. I think that'll kind of help paint the picture of what kind of stuff we're looking for and what kind of department we are. So the Department of Streets and Sanitation, we are one of the largest operating departments in the city. On the slide here, we say we've got about 2,000 employees, but it's a little bit higher than that. There's some seasonality. And we respond to over 1 million service requests per year. And that can be anything from tree trimming requests to rodent baiting, to replace my garbage cart, my recycling cart. It's a very, very busy department. As you can probably tell today, with major snowstorms like today, we've got crews out, throughout every single part of the city, doing their best to kind of clear those roads for everyone. So some of the operating bureaus, we've got traffic services, and this department, we'll touch on some of these departments later on, some of these slides, but traffic services, you'll probably know them for kind of providing towing. Forestry, they help with tree trimming, tree planting, street operations, rodent control, refuse collection, and sanitation. And we'll kind of dig a little bit deeper in some of the next slides here. So forestry, primarily they focus on tree trimming and tree removal. They get tons of service requests, especially after big spring or fall storms, down branches or trees that are falling or kind of blocking the roadway. So that department stays very busy. They kind of ramp up early spring, stay really busy spring, summer through fall. They also work on our tree planting. And over the next 5 years, if anyone's been following the mayor's priorities, the goal is to kind of plant 75,000 trees throughout the city of Chicago. So there's going to be a huge need to kind of increase our tree portfolio, increase the nurseries we work with, increase our tree planting. So that we're very excited about that. That's going to be a huge initiative, and you know, in 5 years, we can happily say the city will definitely be a much greener city. And then emerald ash borer mitigation. This was another priority where, you know, we've got a certain species of trees, the ash tree, that's been affected by this emerald ash borer that kind of goes in the tree and eventually it ends up killing them. So what we've been trying to do is inoculate a lot of our trees throughout the city. So, you know, hopefully between the inoculation and replanting, you know, we'll be able to kind of get ahead of this in the next couple of years. Rodent control. Primarily, you probably know them, rodent baiting. They go out into your alleys, your backyards, use rodenticide to kind of deter some of these rats from burrowing into your backyards or near your garages. They also work on dead animal recovery and cart management. You know, the carts, you're familiar with those kind of little blue and black carts that you have in your alleys. They're the lead bureau on those. We've got our recycling outreach and legislative policy bureau. This department, they're coming up with a lot of new ways that help the recycling program, a lot of new ways to kind of think of what can we do to increase our recycling opportunities, and just, you know, quick preview into some of the things they're working on. They're working on thinking about new ways of composting. They're going to roll out some pilot programs over the next few months. You know, ideally, in a perfect world, you know, we can start recycling more. We can start recycling new things. You know, food scraps or clothing, textiles, things like that. So they'll be rolling out some pilot programs. So please stay tuned for some of those. And this slide, kind of an example of what, you know, one RFP that's coming out or a bid that's coming out soon are transfer stations. So transfer stations, you know, these typically, what they do is we've got a refuse truck. They go out to your home. You know, they pick up your trash. They take it to a transfer facility, and that gets sorted and separated. And some of it ends up at a landfill. Some goes recycling. Some goes to compost. So, you know, at these transfer facilities, sometimes there's opportunities for transportation companies. They come by, they collect things from the transfer facility and take it out to landfills throughout the state. And yeah, I mean, it's a neat process. It's actually really interesting how the whole thing works. The sanitation section, solid waste collection. So this is the bureau that you're kind of really familiar with. These are the folks that come out and you know, pick up your garbage cans. They pick up your recycling. You know, it's a very hard working group. Stay very busy, and it's very hard, especially around this time of the year where they're kind of, you know, driving through snowy alleys, you know, trying to make sure the garbage is picked up within, you know, hopefully the day, if not the day after. Traffic services, contractual towing management. So you're probably familiar with this. You might see those signs that say, you know, no parking, you know, over 2 inches of snow. And unfortunately, sometimes those cars have to get towed. You know, or even at events, you know, sometimes there's no parking around, you know, stadiums, especially after maybe a celebratory thing or concerts. They also manage the auto pound. They stay pretty busy too. Street operations, this is kind of our catch-all bureau. Vacant lot cleaning, graffiti removal, garage demolition, winter operations, kind of like what we have right now. So we've got a big snow program. These are the folks kind of, you know, managing that, street sweeping, and kind of managing the operations of the downtown business district. So to kind of sum up what we're looking for, and I think the best place to start too is what Jacqueline mentioned earlier is you know, that buying guide. That buying guide would kind of serve as that Bible for all the departments. So for student sanitation, kind of what we're looking for is we want to move towards a more greener and sustainable Chicago. So moving forward, a lot of our contracts are going to have components that kind of incorporate these ideas. part of the mayor's vision, our vision, I think the city's vision in general is how can we build a more sustainable city, a greener city. So a lot of the initiatives that we're working on are going to kind of take us that direction. So yeah, I mean, stay tuned. You can obviously the buying guide or reach out to us if there's any questions. But in general, I would say our Twitter handle, if you have any questions or want to learn more about the department, feel free to check here. Or reach out to me. You're more than welcome to shoot me an email and I can kind of direct it in the right place. Yeah. So
That was perfect, Eric. Thank you. Thank you for that information and breaking it down to us like that. Now we will take your questions. Again, if you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A panel, which is at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You should see Q&A. Go ahead and click on that, and it's a dialog box. Type in your information and press the enter key. If you do not see that, there's 3 dots at the bottom of your screen. Click that, you'll get the menu, and then you'll see it on your menu. So go ahead and choose that. While they're queuing up their questions for you, I did have a question for streets and sanitation that was asked offline through our DPS feedback. And the question primarily is, have you all noticed, a large contingency of rodents, the big kind that are chewing the concrete or gnawing into the concrete? Have you been experiencing any of that?
concrete chewing rodents,
Yes.
besides sounding kind of scary. I don't know. I specifically don't know if I've heard of any rodents that are chewing into concrete. I don't know if maybe Luis, he's been around
More,
longer.
more like the, I don't know if this is the right department or animal care and control. If they get involved with raccoons and the raccoons and what is the other one? Possums, but more like that side, not like rats and mice.
Okay, so yeah, animal care and control handles the raccoons and possum issues.
Mhm.
I don't recall, I mean, besides digging holes to go under concrete to actually chew into or dig into concrete, I think I've never heard of anything like that before.
Okay. That was just a question, so I thought I'd ask it while we were waiting. If you have any questions, you all must have done an awesome job because right now I am not seeing not one question to you guys. But if you all have any questions, feel free to submit your questions for streets and sanitation and or animal care and control. Other than that, while they're submitting, if they do have questions, I will go back to my guests and I will start with Streets and Sand. Is there anything you would like to mention that perhaps you left out of your presentation because you didn't know if you had enough time to mention it? Any hot opportunities for our business community or anything you would like to say at this time to close out?
I would like to just, thank you, DPS, for the opportunity to kind of present on the department. Um, you know, it's a very busy department, and sometimes, we're always kind of in the background moving around, and you notice us, but not really, right? Because, they're picking up the trash or plowing the roads. But, it's good to kind of get out here and kind of, let the community know kind of what we do and share some of the things that we're working on. So, just thank you for the chance to kind of present today. Hopefully we get invited back to kind of keep presenting and letting the community know what we're working on and what we're doing.
Well, that's our goal to have the First Look series and you all to be a part of it. And anytime you want to come and share information to the business community, feel free to reach out. and you are always welcome to present here. Animal Care and Control, would you like any final parting words as well?
I just, echo what Eric said. Thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity to put the word out there and get people in the community to really understand what animal care and control is really about. So don't think of us as the dog pound anymore, because we've changed. So we are your resource for all your animal needs. Just reach out. All of our calls come in through 311. Reach out if there's any questions or concerns. Follow us on Facebook. We have a great following, and you'll see a lot of our different events and promotions. Thank
Great,
you.
great. And either one of you, if you're having something or you want to get the word out about something, feel free to email me and I will definitely send it out in our DPS alert to the business community as well. Well, that concludes our workshop for today. I definitely want to thank our two user groups, the Animal Care and Control and the Department of Streets and Sanitation, for coming on and sharing that information. And I always say this information today might have been informative to you, but maybe you can't use this information, but you know someone who can use the information. Feel free to share it with them as well, or tell them where they can go and find it. Because we do want to make sure that people know about what these departments do, what opportunities they have, what information they have to share to you, so that you can get involved. Thank you so much. And for our participants, thank you for coming today as well. We know that you have a choice to do other things, especially in this weather today, but this was a great day for just being able to listen to a webinar. So thank you for coming out. I say stay safe, stay well, wash your hands, social distance, wear your mask, get your shots, whether it's the first, second, or your booster shot. Do whatever it takes so that we can have our construction summit and our vendor fair coming up in September. We can have that live and in person and network with you as well. Thank you all so much. Have a great, wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.